If you go ahead and take your seat, we're about to begin. He needs something. Oh, he wants that. We're good? Okay. It's 6:31. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We're first up. This is our work session, and our first item tonight is our Municipal Service Committee, chaired by Ed Long. So I'm turning the floor over to Ed.
Thank you, Mayor. It's that time of year where we start our reports. I've got three due tonight, and all three of the presenters are here. Gary, you're up first, bud.
Mayor, Council. All right, Cabot Waterworks in your segment 2024. We good? Okay. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, currently the commissioners that serve on the Water and Wastewater Commission are myself, Burt Mayer, who's here tonight, David Butler serves as our secretary, John Woodall, and then Donette Spann is the newest commissioner that we have. Our staff, Tim Joyner is our general manager. Most of you have met him. He's here. Bruce Brown handles the financing manager side of it. Karen Ballard is our human resources and safety manager. David Langstaff, longtime employee, is the superintendent of maintenance. Mike Bickerstaff takes care of our meter readers and the field service manager. And Miss Jackie Jenkins is our customer service manager that interfaces with the folks in the office up front with her team. As of January 31, 2024, we have 32 employees. We have just a little shy of 11,000 meters. That's up 1.9% over 2022 year to date, January 31, 2024. That's approximately 200 meters, a little bit over 200 meters. We bill 9,663 wastewater customers, and we bill for the city of Cabot 8,938 building accounts for garbage at this point in time. I show this every year just to keep it in front of everybody on an annual thing. This is Metro Plan. We get this from Metro Plan, and it's a population trend projection for the city of Cabot. We actually use that in the planning of the maximum MGD and our average daily MGD of what we need to have out there. And so we try to put our planning through 2080, and we update this every year, and we get this from Metro Plan. And right now we're charting right along with their dotted blue line that you see there. As of the 2023, we have 8 water storage tanks, a little bit over 6.1 million gallons. So at any point in time, if we did have a catastrophe or a failure, we've got at least 1 day of water storage that's on tap at any point in time. 4.8 of that with a 20 psi water plane pressure that we keep at any point in time that we can keep in reserve and supply that to our customer base. A lot of busy numbers on this chart. Basically on this, we've got 268 miles of water pipe in the system, lots of different valves and hydrants and all that, and we update this, and so we keep this on tap and keep this updated electronically daily. For 2024, our budgeted water projects that we've got right now are meter replacements, about $213,000. We'll have about $200,000 worth of service line replacements. New services will be about $42,000. We're going to replace some 10-inch PVC on Lindy Lake Road that keeps cracking and busting with 900 class pipe because of bedding and because of when you get up on that top of the hill and you get dry seasons, you get expansion and contraction of the soil. So we get a lot of water breaks up there, so we're going to try to take care of that this year. New line water main extension, we had a Lonoke ARPA grant from Lonoke County for areas in our service area that were in the county still yet. One would have been on Greyhawk, and the other is out at Linwood. And so those two areas, they're currently with the health department to be approved. Once they're approved by the health department, then the design is done, and we'll start putting that pipe in the ground for that. So we hope to have that completed by the end of 2024. Also starting now, RDOT has just given us the go-ahead to relocate both water and wastewater. You'll see it on the wastewater slides also, for relocations for Highway 5 and Highway 89, Exit 19, those relocations for the new roads that are going to be going through there, the new spuies that are going to be put on there. So we'll start that here probably sometime March, April, start relocating those utilities. Willie Ray Water Tank this is its year for rehab and painting, as you can see there, and so that rounds out our 2024 projects that we have for this year on tap right now. Water regulatory agencies. These are the folks that govern water. They start out with EPA and then ADEQ, Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality. They take care of, that's where you get your Clean Water Act and your permits for there and wastewater also. The Arkansas Department of Health, they have the say grace over water and sewer plan reviews, safe drinking water, and their back T test that we do on a monthly basis. And then ANRC, the Arkansas Resources Commission, they have governance over state water plan authority, service areas, and then Act 605, which we'll talk about that here in a little bit, as far as rate study requirements. And then USGS is groundwater use sustainability, which has to do with our wells. All right, a little bit about wastewater. Again, busy chart. Main thing to take away from this, we got about a little over 200 miles of sewer mains in the ground. That's not laterals or anything, that's just our mains. So we've got, we're starting to get quite a bit of pipe in the ground. Budgeted wastewater projects for 2024. I will continue to attack that. We attack that every day and every month and year. So we'll spend about $90,000 on that this year. Grinder pumps, refurbishing grinder pumps, which every grinder pump that gets put in the city of Cabot, once it's put in, it then becomes our care to take care of it if it fails. And so that costs us on average about $95,000 a year to refurbish those pumps. Again, there you see the RDOT interchange there. We'll spend about $350,000 on Highway 5 interchange and Highway 19, or the Exit 19 interchange out here, and relocating wastewater portion of that. And then the last thing we will look at doing this year is converting about 2,400 feet of 12-inch force main of Douglas Road, which is a force main that's in the ground now that's not used. Once we put in the ground 4 Mile Creek to handle the Greystone area out there, that became available. So we'll put that into use as a sewer main coming down Douglas Road. And then the last thing we have got going on is the Highway 321 sewer basin extension that was funded by the $4 million ARPA grant. That is done in the ground. We're on cleanup duty now. We hope by the end of March 2024 to have all the driveways and all the yards cleared up as weather permits. But we're getting real close to having that project finished. Wastewater, same regulatory agencies that we had in water on that, so we won't go over those again. Our future objectives that we'd like to talk about with you, I guess the first one, which we all need to be cognizant of now, is Act 605, which Act 605 was put into play in 2022. It was amended in 2023, and so with the amended portion taken out of it, which means that the main piece that got taken out, which was a positive, before they amended the act, if a project cost greater than 20% of your total budgeted revenue, ANRC had total approval over it. So they've removed that. However, the biggest thing that affects us is that you have to have a rate study now with ANRC. Now you have to have a rate study, and that rate study has to go on and take care of all of your O&M and depreciation and the normal things that rate studies do. So everybody in the state has to submit to that depending on the number of customers that you have within your area. So we will begin that rate study in May of this year. It'll take about 6 months, we think, to finish that, and then we'll be reporting back to you and give you more update as we get more information at that time. So that will be ongoing in 2024. Also, again, we want to replace and upgrade. We got some sewer mains that we want to, that's in the budget that we're doing this year, part of the future expansion that you see. And of course, wherever we can, we want to be able to eliminate sewer pump stations, which, and go to gravity, because that doesn't cost us any power, so we reduce our cost in that one, in that arena. New water mains, you heard about the ARPA grant for Greyhawk and that, so we're going to be putting those in as we go through 2024. Every year, we always put back a little bit for wastewater plant sludge disposal. We don't do that, but about once, really every 15 to 20 years it's needed, and maybe even greater than that under the scenario that we're in now. And then we continue to review our source water options and as we have to come off the well fields in 2026 at this point. So with that, that's short and sweet, but if you have any questions about Cabot Waterworks, I'll be happy to entertain and answer for you if I can.
Anybody have any questions on the presentation? They need clarification from Gary while he's up here. All
What's
right.
our water and wastewater revenues at right now?
Mayor, about, on an annual basis, about 6.5 total. I believe that would be about right. Yeah.
And what's our cash balance,
Don't know that, but I can get it for you. I don't have it on top of my head.
roughly?
I'm going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of about 4-ish, somewhere about that.
4 million?
Yeah. Some
That's
of it-
unrestricted?
No, most of it, some of that is restricted.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Ed, can we get a copy of this? I know we got one of the reports, but we didn't get the
Right.
other two in our packet.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Gary if he would email the council.
I
Would
thought
you?
we did already, but we didn't. Okay, we will, most definitely, we'll get it to you.
Okay. That would be helpful.
Yep. Not a problem.
Anything else? Anybody got anything else? Gary's going to be here. He's not leaving, so be some questions later on. Thank you, Gary. Our next one is Paul Ross. He's our street superintendent. Paul has got a nice presentation. I looked his over earlier. It's nice. Paul, take her away, brother.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, council, mayor. I was told the PowerPoint for some reason, oh, there it is. Good job, Roger. All righty. Staffing for the street department. We had 2 retirees last year, Mr. Jeff July and Mrs. Karen Knable. With that, there was 3 promotions. Kevin Whitley to superintendent, Donnie Tarno to supervisor, and Marcus Coleman taking Karen's role as floodplain stormwater manager. And we added 4 new laborers last year to the staff. Equipment, we got us a sorely needed water truck last year. We also got a new Mini X, 2 new pickups, new snow plow attachment, 2 new salt and sand spreaders, and we got our standby emergency generator for the shop. Some of the completed projects here, of course, some of these here at the top left are, some of those are bond projects, Barnwell, and et cetera. Mulberry drainage improvements, kind of an area that had been kind of forgot about for a little while. Needed some better drainage in the area, especially at the end of the street there. Mountain Springs drainage. The ditch along the road there kept eroding away and everything, so we installed some fabric and riprap to help prevent that. Crestwood drainage, This was a case of those old metal culverts that like to rot away after about 10 to 15 years. Replace those with plastic culverts, and azalea drainage had to get that replaced and fixed up where sinkholes kept popping up in the yard and along the fence line where the storm drain runs there. Canterbury drainage, Oak Crest drainage, Linda Lane. Linda Lane and Oak Crest both were same deal, old metal culverts that they just don't last that long. So we had to get those replaced with something that'll last much longer. Of course, everyone knows the Elm Street Extension Project, West Main Streetscape, which those are underway right now. The street department completed 1,495 work orders last year. 58 ditch excavations. Total length that was excavated, 19,094 feet. 34 culvert replacement and installs with a total length of 844 feet. 6 concrete drain boxes replaced. 16 repaired and replaced concrete drain inlet tops, usually at the corner of intersections where certain large trucks kind of cut the corner and drive over the top of the drain and bust it. We installed 650 feet of French drains, 12,800 square feet of grass sod where we had worked and needed repairs, and 665 feet of fence was replaced. Most of those fences are around our detention basins, and simply from, some of it was vandalism, most of it was just rotted wood, just time to get it replaced. Street repairs, 12,507 square feet of asphalt repairs at various locations around the city. 1,680 tons of gravel used, 50 tons of cold mix asphalt, mainly for pothole repairs, 125 feet of concrete curb repairs, and 177 foot of guardrails. Signs and striping, that was transferred to my department from traffic department middle of last year. We've replaced and installed 39 signs, 12 of them just repaired. White striping over 17,000 foot, yellow striping over 23,000 feet, and stencils painted 78. If y'all remember, last summer in June, we had a pretty good little windstorm come through here, and because of that, we removed 188 loads of brush from the streets and the ditches at various locations around the city. And the March 31st tornado that came through Little Rock, North Little Rock, Jacksonville, we assisted the city of Little Rock and hauled 80 loads of debris that was caused by the tornado. Snow and ice removal, 24 tons of sand and 6 tons of salt were used. Mosquito control, 500 gallons of mosquito spray was used. Mowing, we took over mowing last year on the most of the city properties that was previously performed by a contractor, including the most of the streetscape, city hall, public works, animal control, etc. Thank you very much, and I'm here for any questions you have about my department.
Any questions at all to Paul?
Paul, when is the completion date for Elm Street projected?
I think it's, yeah, hopefully at least by May sometime in May, we should. Right.
Also, I seen the guys out at Greystone Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Were they cutting down that asphalt due to the asphalt being too tall for the curb?
Yes, sir. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you very much. You know, we had Greystone Boulevard was part of the overlay project, and the overlay that was placed in places, it kind of encroached on the gutter of the curb, and which was allowing because it wasn't deep enough anymore with the asphalt filled in, it was allowing some of the water to escape out of the curb and out of the street into people's yards, where it was causing problems, where it was getting in the yards, and it hadn't done that before. So I had a contractor go through where those places were and mill out where it's back down to the depth it needs to be to carry the water in the curb. So that's what that was about. Any other questions?
Anything at all? We have Paul's presentation. That was in the packet. Paul, thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Our next one is our A&P Commission. Candace, you ready?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Candace Tomboli. I am president of the Cabot Advertising and Promotion Board. This board that I'm on, we have the 1.5% sales tax, and that's on our restaurants and the prepared foods, and we have the 3% on all of the hotels. So that is a new thing. We went from the 1.5% to 3% on the hotels. And so we are hoping it brings in more revenue for the city plus the A&P. There is, this A&P board is used to bring more visitors and more tourism to Cabot. Our primary goal is to improve the overall economy of Cabot. The biggest part of that is our Parks and Rec. So here's a recap of some of the events that Cabot A&P has donated to. You can also find these. Candy has uploaded these to a lot when you come to the cabotamp.com. She's got a lot of those on the front page, so you can look at those on the website too. 75% of our budget goes to Parks and Rec because it is such a pivotal role in bringing tourism to Cabot. Travis has done an exceptional job bringing phenomenal ideas to the city and bringing them to life. He is truly amazing. The other events that we donated to were Strawberry Festival, which is in May this year, Cabot Country Cruisers Spring Fling, Little Rock Air Force Base Show, and Denise just came last week and gave us a recap, and it was amazing. They did a phenomenal job, and it was one of the biggest ones I've ever had. City of Cabot 4th of July celebration, Cabot Country Cruisers Track Night, the CFAC Film Festival, Downtown Christmas Celebration. The Christmas Parade didn't get to happen, but we usually always donate to that every year. Building Bridges, Fine Arts in the Park, Cabot Fest, Christmas Open House, Gymnastics, the Cabot Gymnastics Meet, Lonoke County Master Gardeners, the Randy Beaver Memorial Golf Tournament, which is amazing over on the south side of town. The City of Cabot Tourism Data Analytics. So we help with, Alicia got this tourism data analytics to see where the tourism, where they're coming from, where they're going, where they're spending their money, and it helps let the town know and let the city know where the money and the dollars are being spent. And then we also donated to the Channel 7 Our Town. It's a 1-hour spot, and they have come in and do videos throughout the year. So they've been coming every, different times in filming, and they will do TV spots to help promote the city. Some wonderful events, the other things that have gone on throughout the year, and all the sports from Parks and Rec. As far as the budget, we did push it to this next meeting, so we will be working on that the next, I guess in March. The numbers are steady, but we still haven't seen a lot of growth even with adding extra restaurants and the hotels, we're hoping that when game time starts and kicks in, that it will help push some of those numbers up. And as far as like if any were behind, we had a few this month that were 1 month behind, but that's to be expected. That's nothing anything out of the ordinary that's in a given meeting. Some new things we talked about, we have kind of talked about creating a fund, but again, it's still in talking points. About creating a fund to help with restaurant owners if they've got any needs or something's come up and they're like struggling. We've thought about something like that. We've also kind of kicked around an idea of like a scholarship for maybe a senior, but we're still kind of in talking of as far as that goes. Just some ideas. And then we will be working with Travis in the next couple of months to help him with what he needs with Parks and Rec to help get the game time going. And we're excited for 2024 and the opening of game time. We think it'll be a tremendous addition to what Parks and Rec already does. And thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Any questions for Candace? Anybody? Candace, would you mind summarizing your presentation and email it to the city attorney's office so he can distribute it to the council, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, Candace, thank you. All right, our next one is a resolution appointing a new Parks and Rec commissioner, by the way. Mayor?
Thank you, Ed. As you see in your packet, we have Dominique Barnello that has shown his interest in being on the Cabot Parks and Rec Commission. We do have an opening due to the okay. Doing surgery over here. Can I get a blanket too? I'm freezing. Girl Scout blanket, please. I'm just kidding. Due to the passing of our chairman, Greg Sled, over at the commission, and this was sent to me by the Parks and Rec Commission. This is their pick. I have no problems with the recommendation, and they asked for a favorable vote on this. And he is here tonight, and he's welcome to introduce himself and answer any questions you may have.
Good evening. I'll just be real quick. So I'm Dominic Barnello. I have been in Cabot for about 12 years now, retired from active duty Army, basically relocated the family here, and we have made Cabot our home. I asked Travis at one point if there's ever an opportunity for me to be a part of Parks and Rec or anything like that, and he eventually hit me up and said, yeah, is this something that you still want to do? So I really want to be a part of this. I feel like all the stuff that I've been able to do with the sports with my children, I now umpire. My wife's now going to coach 12U baseball. It's going to be interesting. So just am happy to be a part of this and glad to get the nomination. Anybody has any questions?
Any questions? I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, send to full council.
I've got a motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
Got a motion, second, send to full council. Tammy, please.
Long,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Okay. We'll deal with it in probably about 30, 45 minutes, something like that. So
All right, thank you very
just
much.
stick around a little while longer. All right,
Thank you,
a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to accept a donation of real property. Item number 5. Mayor?
Thank you, Ed. As you saw here in your package, the Edwards Family Revocable Trust wants to gift us 8 to 10 acres for a park right off of Willie Ray that will tie into our sports complex and BMX track and the land that the city owns, roughly 400 or 500 acres that we own pretty close to this area that's in a great location for a trailhead or our rest stop. It would be a huge park for us, 10 acres, and I believe Travis is on board with this park. We've already done an environmental study on it, so we know the land is good. We did that about a little over 2 years ago. We recently asked A&P on 3 different occasions for the money to do this line to feed this park, and we were denied each time. So that's why it's on here. We're asking you to give us a favorable ruling on getting the sewer and infrastructure to this park.
Travis, you want to speak on this?
Mr. Long, Mayor. And when we say park, and let me kind of explain this a little bit, is part of the master plan that we have within the biking community, and we call these parks. But those of you who were fortunate enough to go, my dates are going to run together, Mayor. When we went to Northwest Arkansas, those that got to visit Rail Yard Park, this type of area that we're talking about here, as far as that's what this park will be utilized as. And it's bicycle friendly, mountain bikes, there's trails, jumping. City of North Little Rock's been very successful with something kind of in this endeavor as well. But I'll be happy to answer any additional questions. My daughter had another event tonight, so I was just coming in late, but I was going to bring some stuff. But, I actually talked with Brandon today and mentioned Rail Yard Park, and I don't know if you had a chance to kind of look and see at that. And it's just mountain bikes, jumping, and it's a big craze right now, in Northwest Arkansas. And we do have our master plan, and I know there's things that are fixing to really be coming before the city. I thought I saw something for tonight, but it's with some other things. But just the trail plan and everything that goes here, people in the Cabot want it, and so it's coming.
We do have something later on that is in conjunction with that is a metro plan deal that is working with this. There's not very many facilities like this in the state. Northwest Arkansas has a couple. We would be, the second one in Central Arkansas? That's all I could find anyway.
Mr. Long, please forgive me. I haven't been back through Burns Park since the tornado devastated.
I think it's open again. Yeah.
And they had one of these, and even before they had, and it was highly popular. As you know, I spent 8 years there, and so it was highly popular back then, and that was before the bike, even before the river trail came in. But there were some mountain bike trails through Burns Park, and people would use it. Just it's a fun obstacle course, and that's when. So when we say park, this is actually part of we call it a park, but it's not what we think about, Ritchie Road Park with the playground and things like that.
No, it's entirely different. Yeah, it's an entirely different concept, and it's going to fold into the multi-million-dollar deal that Metro Plan is working and everything like that. I have 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
And I think more than likely there's going to be more questions. My first question that I have for you, Travis, you are interested in this. You want this as part of your facility, correct?
This is actually part of our overall master plan with what we've done with Half and Associates and everything that we are doing. Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, this is part of your plan. You want this facility.
Yes, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
As always, it is and one of the things is everybody always wants to give Cabot Parks and Rec. We get the wetlands, and nobody ever, good property. Nobody's given us a road frontage or anything like that. And so,
now you're getting road frontage.
Well, and I do think it will be once fully developed, useful to the citizens of Cabot and surrounding areas.
And I agree. Okay. Number 2, why are you not putting the sewer in? It's your facility. Why are you not putting it in?
Mr. Long, I don't know if you've looked at my budget, but I can tell you that it's, we live shoestring to shoestring, and we are grateful for what A&P does to us. We're grateful for what the city does for us at the same time. But, you know, Parks and Rec, we're lucky in this town that we actually do generate a little additional revenue through our sports tourism business. We'll hopefully have some more of that here coming in the future. But, you know, I've gotten a lot of gray hair over the years worried about budget, so.
I guess this is going to be more directed toward Chairman Tomboli than you, but Candace, why did A&P decline to participate in this?
Okay, when it was presented to us, it was for water and sewer, the infrastructure. And so during the meetings, it was in the discussion that we are not allowed on the A&P, those funds cannot be used for infrastructure. So we voted no.
Anything you do is infrastructure.
Well, I know that up until then, we had already voted down for different things that were bringing water to certain things, and we were, I guess, instructed at the time that we weren't allowed to do that.
Their attorney did say at the meeting that this was legal.
Yeah, thank you. That was going to be my next statement. I was going to ask that as a question. It's my understanding that your legal advisor has said that this project could be funded by you.
There's also a budget issue too, so we only have a certain amount in there, plus what Travis needs, plus on top of that, there's not enough money.
I'm going to pass questions on to other council members right now while I'm formulating a couple of more. Anybody else? I know there's some other people sitting up here who's got some questions. Come on, let's go.
I've got some questions.
There you go.
All right. First off, is there any strings to the land? Is it a clear donation, or do we got to do something to get the land?
I have the letter right here in front of me that has been signed. I'm sorry it wasn't in your packet, but I can send it to you tomorrow, to the whole council. The city agrees to do the following once it takes ownership and possession of the property. They must provide the trust with a tax donation letter for the mutually agreed upon fair market value of the property. The trust agrees to provide a professional assessment of the value of the property if it wishes to receive said tax donation letter. Also in the future, dedicate the property for use as a city park. And number 3 is to request construction of an entrance and roadway to the park that will include a turn lane and a bike lane that will allow for access point onto the undonated portions of the above referenced parcels for future development. The parties acknowledge that all city parks are managed by a separate and independent commission, i.e. the Cabot Parks and Rec Commission. It is further acknowledged that the commission will have final say over both the construction and operation of the proposed park, and the city has no lawful authority to bind the commission or to overrule its decisions in these matters. That's what they're asking for, per the agreement that has been signed back in April.
Okay. First off, I've walked this land. Walked it today. It's rough. Great for a mountain bike. But you're going to have to mountain bike over concrete, stoves. It's a dump. But I'm for the park. The sewer. Gary, would you like to come up, please? Gary, I'd like to know, when was this presented to you, this project to run into the sewer for the park? And what was y'all's recommendation?
Tim helped me out here 2 months ago, back in November of '23. I believe was the first time that we had heard about it.
Were y'all asked to fund the sewer?
Yes, we were asked at that point in time. Actually, we were asked first to design it based on the criteria that we were given at that point in time in different phases of that. So, yes, what's in your packet, I think there, which I looked at, which was online, that 137,000 was that first phase right there, was that, to provide wastewater infrastructure to that park property.
So what kind of criteria did you receive to design your pipe?
Minimal, there would be a couple of bathrooms. That would be all they would need. And I don't know, Tim, help me out here. I don't know the exact flows or anything of that nature, but it was basically a couple of bathrooms and maybe a place where they would sell sandwiches or Cokes or whatever like that. So we would need minimal flow out of that thing.
So I have an issue of taking tax dollars out of the general budget to pay for sewer. I personally think that Cabot Water needs to put some skin in the game on this project for this park. We got a good opportunity to get some land, and I would really like to see Thursday night on y'all's commission that y'all vote to put some skin in the game on this project. If not full, I'd really like to see you, fund it fully.
Well, our commission meeting was last Thursday night, but I'm listening.
I don't understand why Cabot Water has a hang-up on developing infrastructure for the betterment of Cabot. And I think that's something that we need to further discuss.
Far from an economic development standpoint, if it's city property and this being a park, then we certainly can look at that. However, if it's private development, which is stated, our legal attorney, tells us, the economic development law that's in the state constitution, the park is adjacent to economic development property, which is under development at this point in time right now. All right? If we're going to do that to the park, that's one thing. We're okay with that. But if we're going in the other direction, then the developer, the private development, would have to pay their connection fees to hook up to that sewer. All right? And that's by law. But I'll be happy to discuss that with you privately, publicly, or whatever, and we can get Baxter in here and have him and Ben and have them work those details out also.
The private development, Olive Garden.
Well,
Yes.
it is for a park. Alicia's telling me she's at a tourism conference, and I told her she didn't have to come back for it. I got to go there tomorrow and speak, but I'm reading the wrong memo. It's that in item D, and it says the city acknowledges and agrees that it will request to Cabot Waterworks to provide city sewer along the park parcel listed in paragraph 2A above by way of the south side of the property, and the Cabot Waterworks shall install all necessary infrastructure for said sewer from the westmost point of the property. So basically it's sewer as well. When you asked before what comes with the land. So just let you know. But the development, your attorney said as long as that line's sent straight to the park, it's to the park.
It's to the
And
park.
if any other restaurant, if any other,
They
the
want
rate,
to hook up to that,
there's a lot of owners over there, so if they want to hook up, then they pay a hookup fee.
They pay a hookup fee, that's correct, Mayor. That would be correct.
So if we don't install this sewer, the development, how will they hook up to sewer, Gary?
They would have to put sewer in theirself, which would be the normal portion of a developer and agreement. If we're talking about the current Olive Garden that's there, they normally would have put the sewer in down to where the manhole is at the emergency hospital in Cabot, about 700 feet. Okay?
What would that run?
he says about 70,000.
And what's the connection fee?
Depends.
So if you're running that line from the emergency hospital to that park, right?
Well,
Yep.
that wouldn't be the way that we're running the line. If you look in your packet, you'll see the triangle that's there. I think it's the large dotted yellow line that goes across through there, Stephen. That is the direction of where the line would go to, and that's the 137 to get it to the corner of that tip to Willie Ray. So you take that 137, depending on how many other entities are in there, including the park, and you would divide that into, and that would be your connection fees to recoup your funds for putting that infrastructure in the ground. And that's assuming, we're making an assumption here that we don't run into no bad rock or nothing there.
So if you ran the line from the way you think about it, you all could actually do it and then divide it by property owners, and that's what you access them?
That's one methodology, yes, Mayor.
But your methodology is they'd pay for all of it.
The developer of the private entity should be the one putting the infrastructure in the ground. In this particular case you're talking about here, we're talking about a city park. And if all we're talking about would be just the city bathrooms and whatever else you all find out there, it would be minimum, then we would only need a small force main and a grinder pump. But that wouldn't serve anything else in that vicinity. Wouldn't carry the flow.
Okay.
And thereby the cost would be lowered.
So how much lower would it be? $30 to $50. So it's an upgrade of 20 to 40. Okay. But isn't this line, wasn't it always on our map of what is supposed to get sewer?
No.
I thought that was in your office, Tim. There's a map of.
Come up to the mic.
The first time we talked about that sewer line was when a hotel was looking at that same property. That's the first time we ever looked at it.
But we don't have a map that's one of our future lines. We want it to go through there.
No, we allow private developers. You get into speculating. You're speculating where's the private developer going to go. We've got that problem on Highway 5, south side of town. We don't speculate. We wait for the developers.
Okay.
So I guess I'm a little confused here. So this line between the emergency hospital where it picks up, correct?
Right.
To where that corner is how many feet?
Well, that's the drawing I think you're looking at is connecting back behind the hospital actually over at David's Burgers.
Right.
That was to allow access from properties on both sides of the property.
Versus if they did the front of it, it's going to be obviously a whole lot more expensive.
Yes.
And more expensive twice as much? I mean, what's the,
Yes. Footage-wise, it's basically twice.
so doing right by a business, sorry, Mr. Ed, doing right by a business is going to generate revenue. Obviously, we're, trying to help everybody out we can, right, for the city to grow. So that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean,
Man, I swear y'all had something, maybe not, because we have, Ed, help me out here, we have land use plans, we have planning plans, we have bicycle plans, we have walkability Cabot plans. So we plan out the whole city except for sewer?
Thing that I remember about that section out there, Mayor, there's always been a little bit of problem with it, because if you go, I'm going to say north, you've got a pipeline out there. I don't know if it's natural gas or ammonia or whatever it is, but so that stopped there. So anything from the church on has got to come in from 4 Mile. That was just kind of left alone because the city had all that. That was city park, city shop, city, you know, if anything needs doing. Then you come back into Briarwood, and Briarwood was always an issue trying to find out how to get a main there. So that's why that was decided to do as grinder pumps. And then there was a bore, and I think there's 2 bores actually put under the freeway. And one of those accomplishes the sewer for Briarwood, which is all grinder pumps, you know, and a lot of the discussion back then was, well, then everything over here on this side of the freeway, since we got the bore under there and have got a large majority of that already served with grinder pumps, that'll be a grinder pump deal. And a lot of it was because of what Gary just said. We don't know what the rock is out there. We don't know if there's going to be a lot of blasting or everything like that. And it's a whole lot easier to put a little 2-inch line in than it is 8-inch main. So that was the discussion on that. And I think maybe that's the reason that nothing has been plotted out on that, because that was the conventional wisdom then. Of course, that was 15, 20 years ago, but that was the conventional wisdom on it then, on how that come about. Since then, we've got the hospital that has developed. We've got all of that down there that has developed. So that has changed naturally. So now then we've got a force main that we're looking at coming up there to that 1,300 feet, and then possibly as far out as Mountain Springs Road. Well, we've got sewer on Mountain Springs Road that could be put in down there to service that if that ever goes in there. So I think this whole section down here, in this part of it at least, is going to have to be rethought. Now, how much do we rethink it? We still don't know what the construction is going to be there directly behind this project that we're talking about there, and directly in behind the hospital. There still could be prohibitive because of the rock and everything that's in there. I don't know. But I believe that's why there is not anything mapped out on that part of it, is because the decision that was made at Briarwood was kind of forcing the rest of that to be that type of decision.
But Briarwood's over there by the street shop, right?
It's the one that is directly off of Willie Ray.
Right. Right. Right.
That whole section, everything from Pilot all the way down to Broadway Church, that whole section in there is a right.
But that's like another mile away, right? Okay.
The way that that was done, it was done with a bore under the freeway to get over in behind Crestview, it would be. That's where that terminus is on that, is under the freeway and terminates over there into a main over there. So that, again, that was decided the best way to put it back then was under the freeway, get a bore under the freeway and go that direction. There was really never down right from Mountain Springs on, because and then what Brandon just said, that is now it's an entirely different program, an entirely different concept, an entirely, everything out there is new to be I think this. Other people besides your general fund need to have some skin in the game on this. I don't necessarily have any objection to the general fund participating in it as well, but I think some other people need to stand up and have some skin in the game on it as well. And Candace, with all due respect, I think A&P needs to rethink this. I think it is something that is tailor-made for y'all. It is tailor-made for park expansion. It is something that I asked him three times, if he wanted this for part of his park, and he said yes all three times. It is not anything that is a well, maybe type deal with Travis. Travis committed, standing right there, that he wanted this as part of the Parks and Rec system. Y'all fund Parks and Recs to the very best that you can do, and you do a heck of a job with it, and I don't know what we would do without it. But it is something that I think there needs to be a partnership for out there. Brandon, I just really do. I think it needs to be a partnership. I have to agree with you 100%. I am completely and absolutely 100% opposed to the general fund paying it. But I will say this. If the general fund has to put it in out there in order to keep expansion going, in order to keep Parks and Rec expansion going, which we can't let it die, we've got to move forward with it, and in order to rethink that whole area out there and make it viable for this city to have some expansion into that, then that's what I want. At that point, that's what I want. But I hope we've got two other entities in this town that will stand up and help do that. And let's rethink this thing if we need to. If it needs to be a grinder pump to put in to make it more feasible, that's fine. Tim, what I heard you say, there's a real possibility that this has been over-engineered. What we see here in front of us very well may be over-engineered. It may not need to be an 8-inch force main. Or it's a gravity fed, isn't it? It's an 8-inch gravity fed. It may not need to be that. We don't know. You know now because you know the facilities that's going in out there and what it's going to be servicing. Do you need to engineer it, or okay decision you make? Now, this is over-engineered, I believe, for the service that'll ever come into it. I just believe that.
You're probably correct, but there's 10 state standards we have to abide by. 10 state standards, the minimum size pipe is 8-inch. That's a national standard. So, and that will handle a lot of connections. 8-inch will handle a lot of connections.
Is anybody else? Brandon, I didn't mean to jump in on you, sir, and I apologize for that. I'm sorry. But that's why I passed it to you a while ago, because I had to sit here with my thumb in my mouth.
Well, first, I can't believe that we're recommending grinder pumps. I didn't think we promoted grinder pumps at Cabot Water, was the email that I got.
We don't.
You know, we need to call this sewer like it is. If we need the sewer for economic development for Cabot, for the betterment of Cabot, we need to call it like it is, and we need to do it. But I'm not for the city paying for infrastructure that Cabot Water is going to make revenue on, period.
May I ask something? Brandon? May I ask something?
Oh, go ahead.
Is the economic development just for water and wastewater commissions?
Mayor, based on what our lawyer has told us, it's in the state constitution.
For commissions or water departments?
Water funds is the way, water and wastewater funds is what we're told. I think we first need to get the legal minds together, Ben and Baxter, which I know they've talked about this in the past, but I think we need to have a firm ruling on that based on what we've been told, and that's what we're going by. I don't think there's an issue with the city park. The issue comes when you're running for private development.
We're not running for private, we're running for the park, and then they'll have their connection fee. They're not.
Did you say something?
No, I just said this is not. What is being proposed here tonight, based on this drawing that we have in front of us, is to put service to the park. It has nothing else. There is no other monkey of any other color here.
And if that being said, that 8-inch pipe is way over designed for the park, because all you need is one little 1.25-inch force main for one little grinder pump at the park.
And that being said, there is a lot of land in there that 10, 15 years ago, Brandon, wasn't even thought about being able to do anything with.
It's a shell pit.
And here we are now with the possibility of that being interstate frontage. And because of that, there has got to be some forethought put into this with the expansion that needs to be done. Now that's, I think that concludes my sermon. My sermon.
And I agree. You know, the map I've got's got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, okay, of the Willie Ray extension.
And with all due respect, I don't think this map should have been put in our packet for the discussion tonight.
But this, I take this personal because this is the ward I represent. And there's a lot of places that are in this region that don't have access to city sewer. And we're talking about prime real estate in the middle of Cabot. Road frontage, and we don't have any sewer. You got to be kidding me.
State highway.
And so, I mean, I got happy. When I seen phase 1 and phase 2, I'm like, man, this is going to blow up. What would be the benefits of this map if we do the sewer from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4? I'm guessing phase 4 goes all the way up to, is that Highland Drive, up by the gas line? I mean, would we get to do away with grinder pumps that are in the Highland subdivision? I mean, there had to be a purpose for this map. I mean, it just didn't, somebody put some thought into it.
The maps were generated because of Alicia coming and meeting with Tim and asking for different things as this all got constructed over a period of a couple of months. Okay, this was not just one specific thing. This happened as time went on, as the time started in November as we went forward. Okay, and as she asked for things, she would come to Tim and he would say, okay, this is what you would need to do this for. And so that's how those 4 phases, if you will, came about. Again, the purpose that we really were here for was the sewer infrastructure between, let's call it Davidsburger and the park, all right? And then we were asked to look on out to Willie Ray, which that's the point of the drawing that you see there. And so that's phase 1.
And that's my thing too. I just want clarity. If we're oversizing the pipe to hook up for economic development, let's call it what it is. I'm not saying I'm against it, but if we need to oversize the pipe for future growth, by all means, let's do it.
I think if we don't, I think we're making a huge mistake. I think we're making a mistake like we've made in other parts of the town before. And I think this is an opportunity to make sure that a mistake like that doesn't happen out there. There's a lot of good ground out there that is developable from where the top of that hill out there down to Willie Ray. A lot of good little businesses could go in there. What? I don't know, but I bet you somebody does. And that would get sewer down to Willie Ray here with what we've got here in front of us as a proposal down the road somewhere. That orange dotted line there, Brandon, that you see that is over here on this part of the map that we don't have, yes, that went down to Highland. And if something was to start happening down there in Briarwood, then Briarwood could be brought back to that, I think. I'm not Tim Joyner, I'm not an engineer, I'm just Eddie sitting here looking. So yes, that could possibly help that, but that system down there is working, right, Tim? Working well, but who knows what it will do in the future. But that's beside the point. The point is the future growth down that corridor there. But it all starts with what we're talking about tonight. It all starts with that $137,000 to get that sewer to the park. That's where it all starts. What happens from there on is for wiser heads with a future discussion. But I do know one thing, if that little leg is not put in there, then this discussion will go on and on and on and on and on.
Could I just say two sentences? How many times have we sat here and discussed and cussed about the lack of forward thinking 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago? When we look at the lack of forward thinking on West Main and the setbacks of all the businesses and how we are constrained from widening that road. If we don't start looking forward, we're gonna get cussed and discussed years from now. We need to start planning for the growth. It's coming. So I'm in favor of the 8-inch. And if somebody has a beef with that, that's fine. But one of the arguments that I heard at one point was, well, that's not fair that that sewer line is going to be put in and someone can hook up to it. I didn't have that chance when I was putting my business in. Well, somebody has to put it in. Somebody has to start the process. So why not start now?
But see, that argument does not hold water because somebody had to put sewer line in from the plant back. Okay, so that business did not have to put a line in all the way down to the plant. That business put a line in across the length of this room here and hooked up to a sewer that was already there. So that argument to me is spurious, and I don't like for those arguments to be said. I just don't. I think we're dancing on the head of a needle with a devil whenever we start talking about that kind of stuff, and I don't like it. But what we're looking at tonight is 1,370 feet of 8-inch main that the mayor has said that he will put in. I don't think he needs to have that whole burden on his shoulders. I just don't. I think.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add some. I do agree that you do have some ability to feed that park at a certain dollar with sewer and water. And if we took advantage of that you're legally allowed to do, and then maybe the city or A&P worked with us to upgrade that on the front end, maybe we could accomplish it that way. But I'd like to know also for Ms. Tambali that will we be able to have the kind of funding it's going to take to maintain and to staff? We get a lot of projects that are accomplished, and whenever Parks and Rec takes it over, I want to make sure that he's going to be able to be funded to provide the people to maintain the equipment for the long term. Getting something there is one thing. Not being able to take care of it is something else. I want some commitment that A&P is not going to back out us on funding parks for taking care of it.
Candace, what was the average of your monthly collections last year?
It ranged between 120 to 130. I think our highest month was September, and it was 130,000.
So 1.4 million?
Yes, 1.4 million.
1.4 million. What's your cash on hand?
As of the meeting, I think it was around 350,000. And then with what Travis was needing between now and May, it was over, especially with what they were asking for that.
If we divided this thing up 3 ways, Mayor, you're looking at 46 grand.
I need y'all's vote for me to do that. I'd be happy if Tammy will write the check and sign it, and I sign it, we're good, but we need your approval.
That's in my humble opinion, and if I'm stepping on toes, I'm sorry, but that's 3 entities. That's 3 entities that is going to share in the growth of that area out there. But before we can have growth in that area out there, this whole thing is hung up over 1,300 feet of 8-inch line. That's what's stopping it. That's what's stopping a park from going in. That's what's stopping any type of other further development that's going in out there. Brandon is opposed to grinder pumps, and I don't necessarily blame him for it. I don't know that, I know we've been pretty fortunate with them on residential stuff, but if we start hooking hotels and, well, the day I retired out of a hotel that had 3 grinder pumps in the basement. That's what it took to operate the hotel. So I'm familiar with operating a business with grinder pumps. Trust me, Brandon, I am. And ask me why we had 3. Because the biggest part of the time, 2 of them were down. So that's the reason. But you know, I think we all need to sit down. I think everybody needs to put their big boy pants on, including Candace and them. And I think we need to sit down. I think we need to figure out what's best for the city, not what's best for us as individuals, but what's best for the city. And let's get this thing done. Now, I am through at this time, and I'm going to, I guess, turn it over to James so I can keep my mouth shut.
Can I ask a question?
You have the floor, dear. You may ask all that you wish.
Not many. Travis, it's for you. He was hiding, but I saw him. No, as the 10 years that I served on Parks and Rec, so I have the Parks and Rec questions, and I know that you do have this in your future plans, but I'm worried about the land and the condition that it's in right now. Have you done a cost analysis of how much it's going to be to go in there and clean up that land, make it into the park that we want, and where is that money going to come from?
I have not done, hello, sorry. So I have not done a full cost analysis. So let me tell you, so currently also in our master plan, and you're fixing to start seeing a lot more come forward with this. Currently out at what is formerly known as Regional Park, it's now through the grounds, part of that, out on top of the hill by the water tower. For years, that's just everywhere everybody's dumped dirt spools, water department, City of Cabot, Parks and Rec. That basically has to cease and stop immediately. So because we're fixing to bring a plan forward for a full development of our mountain bike trails. Currently, what we would do is take that property and use it to dump some, because it's not necessarily bad dirt that we're pulling out of these places. I know Tim or whoever will tell you, or Paul's over here, you know, a lot of this time it's just good dirt. It gets pulled out of a ditch, it gets pulled out of a hole for a repair or whatever. And so we've basically built a big pad on top of that hill there. The street department goes, takes the dozer, goes out. But according to our engineers with Half and Associates, basically what we're going to do is that becomes a trailhead on top of that. So now, where do we take these dirt spoils? So a lot of the material will be built in over time, bringing those spoils of dirt into that facility to help shape it. Yes.
Okay, so tell me a cost analysis, tell me a rough, and then you tell me a rough estimate of when this park would open.
I wish I could give you a straightforward answer. I mean, so much of it just depends on time and, you know.
You have a number, you have a thing, so tell me. Is it a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now?
So our first priority within the Parks Department is our trailhead that I just mentioned in the grounds. That's already been developed by the International Mountain Biking Association. We're ready to move forward with that, and I actually have some funds. Depending on how other conversations go, this could be part of that, or this could be not part of that. So I honestly can't answer your question because I think give you the answer that you're looking for. I mean, yes, you're all right. Funding is a big thing of this. I mean, but there's grants and there's a lot of money right now in outdoor recreation.
Yeah, and I get that because I understand the Parks and Rec world, but also understand that, and I want parks because I'm for it and I want economic development. But I feel like we're throwing this off on the park, that the park may not be there for 3 to 4 years, but we want that done now so that the economic developer can hook up to it. And if that's it, let's just say it and let's not beat around the bush, because the first time I heard about this park was when I got my packet. And I would have heard about it before, I think, and so that's my issue. And my other issue is that 3 different lawyers are saying 3 different things. We have the AMP lawyer saying one thing, we have the city lawyer saying one thing, and we have Waste and Water saying one thing. If this park is not going to be for a little while, why don't we put a little halt on it? Or if we're saying that it's for the park and then the economic developer is going to tie into it, that's fine, but let's say that. Let's not say we're just running it for the park of a park that's not going to be probably used for 2 to 3 years from now.
May I? Per that memo that I read to you, I read you the wrong one, but I've said when Brandon was speaking, the condition of getting that land is that we run utilities to that park. So we're not going to get the land, and the wind is closing. So if we don't want roadway frontage for a park, then we're going to wait.
What's the date on when do we have to answer them?
It's both been signed by both parties, which is approved by Ben, but of course nothing can be executed unless City Council approves it. Bear with me, let me pull it up here.
And once again, let me tell you, I'm not against parks, and you know that. I've stood on the street and did a lot of things for the ones here, and I'm not against economic development because I want to eat here and I shop here and I do all that. But I want us to be clear and transparent about what we're doing and not trying to go around a different way to get something done. And I appreciate what the AMP does, and I would never ask you why someone voted the way they did, because that's not fair. And I respect y'all's vote and what y'all did, and that's.
And keep in mind too, so, I mean, that the developer is bringing the waste from the hospital already to the Olive Garden. No?
And correct me if I'm wrong, the Olive Garden and their designs, they were in the works way before this even came into the discussion. Is that correct or incorrect?
Did you find the date on that MOU?
Well, the date on this it doesn't have a date that says we have to decide by, but Alicia just texted me and said that this is the first time that all the landowners agreed to give us the land. So it's
Yeah,
been going on
but
back and forth
the
last
big hook on that, as I recall from reading that MOU, the big hook on that was the utilities to it. If the
Right,
utilities are
right.
not to it,
Right.
then it's a,
Right, but it
Yeah.
doesn't give a date like Maggie asked that we have to
right.
have it done.
All right, the date on the MOU though, whenever the city got the MOU, you remember when that was? October? I don't remember.
I think it was around April.
Was it that
April
early? Was it that
2023.
early in the year?
Yep.
When did y'all first hear about it, Gary? Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, the first one I was in April was so we could dump there. And this one, it doesn't have a date on it, because it hasn't been signed by me.
The one that puts a stipulation on it.
Yep. Yep.
Wasn't that October? Last of September, 1st October? I don't know. I mean, don't hold a gun to my head, but I don't know. I don't remember.
She's texted me. Yes, October is what she just said. I think she talked to you about it. I just don't remember the date.
After all, I am almost 80, so I don't know if I recollect right or not.
So, let me get this straight. I'm just an old country boy, and I went to Cabot High. So, how is this a donation of land? When you do services and get something in return, that's called a barter. That's what they taught me at Cabot High. So please tell me how this is a donation of land. I'm with Maggie. Let's call it what it is. If we need this land to get that easement for that sewer, by George, let's do it, because I am not going to stand in the way for economic development. I'm for it. Sign me up. I want to grow Cabot. But I am not for being shady and trying to do a backroom deal. If we need the sewer, let's get it done. I'm sure I can work with Gary and Tim, and we'll get this thing hashed out and done. But I want to call it like it is. It's not a donation. When I donate to a charity, I don't get anything in return. That's a donation. When you provide a service and get something in return, that's a barter.
Right.
We are purchasing this land.
We're given to get, yep. Just what the memorandum of understanding said.
And trust me, the sewer pipe is probably worth more than the land, by far. I urge y'all to go walk it.
What'd you say?
I said I urge everyone to walk it. It's pretty rough.
Is it? Well, they've been dumping there for 30 years or more. Probably ever since the freeway came through.
But I do want to see water help out on this.
I don't have personally, and I'm just one vote, I don't have any problem splitting it 50-50 with them. I'd a whole lot rather it be split 3 ways. I just don't think either entity needs to foot it 100%. I'm glad that the mayor stepped up and said, I'm willing to do it. I got the money to do it. Guys, just go ahead and tell me to go. And he'd be going in the morning if we told him that. And I appreciate that. I really do, more than he'll ever realize. But I wouldn't mind doing a 50-50 with you, Gary. You and I talked about it the other day. I wouldn't mind doing a 50-50 with you. I think that's fair. I sure wish this bunch over here would say, hey, I got 46,000 I'll put in there too. And then Tim can take a pay cut and pay for it. And we're home free. We're not home free. We have bought 13 acres out there for $137,000, hadn't we, Brandon?
Absolutely.
but we got a park. And Travis said that he had a trailhead out at the grounds. Is that what it's called? We will have a trailhead there. And this could be wrapped into the development of that now, if you had it, or later. And I don't like the or laters on anything because they just don't ever seem to come about. I'd a whole lot rather it be the or now. That's just my feelings.
Oh, and I agree. I mean, I think it's an awesome location for a park. You know, I'm sure you'll see me out there in my gym clothes on my mountain bike and really hitting the trails. But I think it's a great idea, but I just do not like the way it is framed. And I do not like the city having to take the burden of getting this done. Now, if that's the only way to get it done, we'll get it done.
So are we looking for a motion to table this until certain legal beagles can?
Oh, I think all the legal beagles are on exactly the same page. I know that A&P's is. I know the thing that he gave y'all said y'all could do this. Infrastructure can be done. I know that, I just know that that ours will say infrastructure can be done. There ain't no issue with it. And I heard a presentation made by theirs to their commission that said as long as it is on a easement that is owned by the city and going to a city facility, they can do it. Right? It's exactly what he said, word for word. And it will be on an easement owned by the city, and it'll be going to a city facility. Now, what happens on the other side of that? So the first part of this thing, this first $137,000, they can absolutely either do it or participate in it. I feel certain that their legal people will tell them the same thing, and I know ours will. Our holdup is sending them back to their commission to get approval. So I don't know what to do with it, brother. I'm looking for the mayor for guidance on what he wants to do. Turn him loose on it, let him do it, and then let everybody reimburse him, and don't hold this project up any further. And then he's caught with his proverbial britches down.
It's up to council, of course.
No, we can't commit them to anything or them either. We can just beg them. The only thing that we can do, the only thing this council can do tonight is approve the $137,000 that the mayor has requested for him to start construction of that out there. He can then send a letter to Gary and Tim in the morning and say, hey guys, I've got it, I'll fund it. And then we're going to hope that somebody else will kick in and reimburse him part of it.
Way we're spending the taxpayers'
We're spending $137,000.
The taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah, well, it's taxpayer money anyway, look at it, but yes, we're absolutely doing it. I don't know of any other way to proceed, Mayor. Do you? Help me.
No, sir. That's the only way we can. I mean, I can assure the council that I will try to talk to all parties involved and try to receive cooperation. I feel Gary and Tim here would do what was legal and pay for whatever that they could, that their attorney would agree. I think us in this room, looking at each other, I think we could get that done, couldn't we, guys?
Brandon, I know, can you hold your nose and do that?
I would rather wait until the commission meets, if they call a special, because I want to see what they're going to put in. If they're going to put in for the grinder pump funds, if that's 50,000 and the city has to take care of the rest, I want to know that number. I mean, absolutely, I think the,
Let me say this, as a chair. Let's just think about the 8-inch line. Let's not talk about the ground. Let's look forward, not backwards. That's the smart play here.
right, well, what I'm saying though is, if y'all figured in that a grinder pump would do it for 50,000, are you going to share the extra cost to upgrade the pipe, or are you just going to say, hey, we figured in $50,000 for a grinder pump, that's what we're going to kick in? Because I'm with Ed. We need to upgrade this pipe. It needs to be ready for future use.
Yeah, I think what Matt said a while ago is absolutely spot on. I think that we have been caught in that trap way too many times saying, well, let's just do what we can do to get by. And our get bys cost us a lot of money whenever we go back and do it right, and we've had to do that. Y'all have had to do it. We've had to do it on the city side. It's more expensive it's cheaper to do it now than it is to try to get by. We're looking at $68,500 for the two entities split it. We're looking at $46,000 if three splits it. Now that's what we're looking at.
I think if y'all can go ahead and approve that we and the mayor will work it out.
Approve what? 68?
137.
137, and then y'all work?
And the mayor and I will work it out. With our commission, we can do that.
Well, we're gonna.
I've got one other commissioner here with me tonight. We're 2 of 5.
Yeah, and I've been watching him over there. He hadn't fallen in the floor yet. He has not fallen in the floor yet. He's doing fine.
We're not optional to having this happen, but it's got to happen the right way and the legal way, or we won't be part of it.
Well, we don't either. I mean, I don't think any of us want to go to the P farm at all. I don't. I had no desire. Well, that's where we stand. Brandon, I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I do not disagree with it at all, period. But I also know that this project needs to move forward, because our very next item on here, in a roundabout way, ties into that project. Somebody a lot smarter than me, tell me what you want to do.
Based on what I've heard from the mayor and Chairman Walker, I make a motion to send this to full council.
The 137. I have a motion to fully fund the $137 for the expansion, and in that motion is that Chairman Walker will take to his commission the idea of funding half of it back. Candace, if you want your commission to look at it again, I would appreciate it. I think it's the right thing to do. You've been privileged to this conversation tonight. I think you understand where we're going to, where we want to go to. You've heard Travis tonight. That being the case, then it's 46 grand is what we're looking at. I have a motion to that effect. Do I have a second?
I'll accept that friendly amendment.
Thank you, sir. Really wasn't an amendment, it was a clarification, but I will make that as an amendment. We don't have a legal here tonight to turn it into an amendment, but I bet you Miss Tammy can do it for us. What are you gonna bet? I need a second. James, second it.
I'll go ahead and second, and I'm really hoping that we can get A&P to play with us.
I do too.
Because I think that's an important thing. This is going to be a part, not economic development, but it's going to be promoting our city.
Well, I agree. I've said probably enough, maybe even too much. I think me and Matt may need to keep our mouths shut for the next little bit. I have a motion and second. Tammy, will you please?
Long,
Yes, ma'am.
Hillenberg,
No.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
All right, our next item is item number 6, a resolution expressing the willingness of the city of Cabot to utilize federal aid transportation. Mayor?
Thank you, Ed. What this is before you in your packet is just phase 4 of our regional greenway system. So I've been very adamant in upfront and quick to ask for money and get this stuff planned and done. As you know, in the spring, I believe we had a $1.1 million grant. We're going to start the trail over by the schools, over by the high school and the junior high north and the overpass. But this is phase 4 of it, and we're applying for a grant for $320,000. And that deadline has already passed. We've already applied for it, but it just says sometime after you apply for it, make sure council's okay with it and send it to us. So we don't know if we've received it yet, but this is some housekeeping items just to say you're okay with us spending $80,000 if we get the $320,000 grant.
And this is all of that stuff that we've been talking about for what, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that, on the Greenway and the trail from Ward and all of that. It's all the same thing. It's turning us into a biking community rather quickly.
Yep.
And that's not all bad, I don't think. Anybody got any questions for the mayor of this? Anybody at all? I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Tammy, please. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
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 Mayor, that concludes my portion of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Just to the audience, we'll hold questions until the end for work session. Next up, Budget and Personnel Committee, Chairman Stephen Redd.
Well, yeah, Mayor, we have a review of the 2022 legislative audit.
Okay, I
So,
guess, council, did everybody receive one of these in the mail, or Matthew got it to you somehow? Anyway, it kind of resembles every other report we've had except for one item. Basically, they give us an adverse opinion because we don't prepare our financials in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. We prepare it on a regulatory basis, which we've done since I've been mayor, and before that, obviously. One item to note, if you saw in here, it addressed the mayor that during the year, an error occurred in the city's accrual software. Basically what happens, people were taking vacation or sick, and it was putting in there that they took it, but it wasn't corresponding, the software wasn't corresponding to the time system. So in their sample that they sampled, they saw that something was not right. So Matthew and his team and Tammy did a full detailed of all 2022 and 2023 to date. Of that, the city was basically had 2 employees received overpayments, totaled $1,283 in 2022, and we self-reported 3 employees up to that point of our audit, December 19th of 2023, that $1,585 in 2023 was paid out, overpaid upon separation retirement. So the total exposure of the city was $2,900 of an error, and we've the software could not be fixed, but we've put in other procedures and Excel worksheets, et cetera, to check it. We're checking every payroll, so everything's good to go now. We were very upset with the software, but we can't find another software that will do what we want it to do. So anyway, we're just glad it wasn't any higher than it was. And so other than that, cash at the end of 2022 was roughly $9 million. Our excess revenues over expenses were $1.7 million. So we had a great year. Of course, revenues were up. Our budget, like I said, we were $1.7 million better than what we budgeted. And then it gives you a list back here of all of our debt, all of our assets, all of our liabilities, all of our special funds, all the stuff y'all guys look at, and ladies, at budget time. So it's kind of a summary of that, but as of 2022. So it's a great report. Clerk's office doing a great job, and very pleased with it. Just that one computer error.
Any questions, comments for the mayor? That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, sir. Police and Fire Committee, Chairman James Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have several things to talk about tonight. First, we want to talk about, I want to invite Chief Scott Steele to come up and talk. This for the police. We're talking about an item that is in our budget, was budgeted for this year, and he's going to cover all of that on the tasers.
So I'm asking for a resolution to purchase 55 new tasers. Our tasers were bought in 2017. They have expired, they're outdated. Our service contract is out of date, went out last year. Unfortunately, the price of these tasers has nearly tripled since 2017. We had $45,000 budgeted for it in 2024. It's going to come in about $53,000 a year for a 5-year contract, just roughly over $200,000. The bite on the bite on this year would be $53,000. Those of y'all that were in the Citizens Police Academy got to experience the tasers, got to see what they're capable of. If you guys got any questions about the tasers, I'll be happy to answer them.
I think it's imperative that we can have these because it's a non-lethal way of apprehension.
It is a less lethal option. There have been deaths related to the tasers, but it does give the officers another item available to them to avoid injuries both to themselves as well as to the suspects.
Any questions from the council? I'd entertain a motion to move this to full council.
Make a motion to move it to full council.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second. Tammy, if you will.
Yes.
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 Yeah, this is just my annual housekeeping request to destroy old accident reports, incident reports, booking reports, everything past 7 years. Everything is backed up digitally. These are the hard copies, and just asking for them to be able to be destroyed again.
Any questions? I'd entertain a motion to move it to full council.
I make a motion to move it to full council.
Motions. There's a second?
Hey,
Okay.
before
All right.
Chief Steely goes, can I have him add something and tell y'all?
Yes.
We became an accredited department, which I'll let him go into what that means, but it's a big deal.
Yeah, we did. We had our on-site inspection last week, and we are now the 18th law enforcement agency in the state of Arkansas to be fully accredited. The accreditation was a requirement by, not necessarily a requirement, but it was a strong interest by the president by executive order a couple of years ago. It now makes us fully eligible for federal grants. You had to be in the process or approved for accreditation. We passed with flying colors, and they should be presenting us with a certificate at a council meeting here coming up either March or April.
So it's policies of being a kinder, gentler
Policies,
police and
procedures,
community.
best practices, pretty much so that we're on the same board with the top departments across the country.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Great job on that.
And Tammy, if we can go ahead and call the vote.
Yes.
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 That's correct. Good evening. I'm asking for a resolution to purchase a new vehicle to replace our current brush truck. Our current brush truck is a 1985 model that we got from the Forestry Service almost 2 decades ago, and it is beyond its last legs. And if you're not familiar what a brush truck is, it helps us to get to those areas on wildland fires that you can't get with a normal fire truck. And I would be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
There is one available immediately.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions from the council? I'd entertain a motion to send it to.
Make a motion to send it to full council.
Got a motion?
Second.
Thank you very much.
Tammy, if you will.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes fire and police.
Thank you, sir. Community Development Committee, Chairman Ed Long.
Mayor, the better part of the last 90 minutes has been about community development. Thank you, sir.
And I asked everybody, I just got a text to ask council to review the Facebook page and the comments. And basically, they were all good. People support the city paying for future growth. So that's one of those good things that looks like the citizens were saying, their comments, that they think it's a good thing if we do this and pay for our growth and our future. Next item, Military Affairs Committee, Chairman Ron Waymack. Thanks, sir. Now it's time for general community input. If you have any questions for the mayor or council as it relates to our work session or anything else, please come to the podium. And if not, we'll adjourn and start our council meeting. Seeing none, do I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion to second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimously. Anyone need a bathroom break? Let's take 5 minutes and then we're going to kick this thing off. everybody here? It is 8:21. I'm going to go ahead and call the February 26th City Council meeting to order. And I ask you each to stand with me as we have our opening prayer by Council Member James Reed. And then we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance by the Girl Scouts.
If you'll bow with me. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for your blessings on our community and the freedoms that we have. Lord, we ask your blessings on the city of Cabot and instill in us a servant's heart to do the business of the citizens. We lift up our military service men and women stationed all over the world and ask for your protection for our first responders. Thank you for your grace and your mercy. These things we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Girl Scouts. Everybody can be seated, please. Tammy, can you give us a roll call?
Long,
Here.
Spangler,
Here.
Red,
Here.
Hillenberg,
Here.
Cope,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Waymack.
All are present. Next item, Stubby, if you come to the podium, please. GFL would like to present the city and the city council with a presentation.
Mayor, I promise I won't take but about 37 minutes for this. I know some of y'all are ready to get home. Mayor, Madam Clerk, members of the council, citizens of Cabot, just want to thank you for this opportunity to kind of recollect on some memories here, if you don't mind. Back in June of last year, we had a storm come through the city of Cabot. We have a contract with the city for all solid waste, recycling, bulk items, as well as yard debris. During this time as the storm come through, we had reached out to Laura, and Laura, thank you for your participation and all your hard work, and said that, listen, we have force majeure in our contract, which allows us to well, it discludes us from having to pick up storm debris. But we said if you'll give us time to pick this up, we would like to participate and not charge the city anything. Little did we know that there was a whole lot of storm debris, as you heard in the report earlier with Street Department, because not only that, we hauled off somewhere in the tune of about $300,000 worth of storm debris during that time. During that time, our company experienced a pandemic of employment where we couldn't find employees to do anything. During that time, we suffered deficiencies in our service to the city of Cabot. The contract with the city allows the city to assess fees against us. Those fees in the tune of about $134,000. Force majeure charge from us was about $300,000. Therefore, we have met time and time again with the mayor, the city attorney, and Laura. I'd like to also introduce and have him to come up. He's our new general manager for the state of Arkansas, Andrew Dion. For those that don't know, I am currently the regional government contract manager for GFL Environmental. I cover the states of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Illinois. Our corporation is divided up in 3 areas: sales, operations, and maintenance. During that time of the pandemic of employment, we lacked in leadership in our operations side and our maintenance side. This is probably something that you won't see very much at a city council meeting, where we say, at that time, we failed. Today, we have all of our drivers in place and we have a new GM. Andrew Dion is our general manager. He's over operations and he's over maintenance. While we didn't enact force majeure, the city certainly allowed us to somewhat. So we've agreed to a memorandum of understanding with the city of Cabot, GFL, while lots and lots of work was put on Public Works. So part of this agreement was to us to come here with our hats in our hand and apologize. I do not take it lightly, nor does Andrew. So while we were assessed all these fees, and we showed where we had $300,000 worth of removal, the city agreed to this memorandum of understanding. And so on behalf of GFL, all of our operations, our maintenance, and our sales department, we apologize not only to you, but to the citizens of this city for our deficiencies. And I can assure you that while I'm here at this company, that I will scream and holler just as loud as I did since June of last year. But I think Andrew's listening, as well as others in our management team across this company. So during that, we asked if there was something we could do. In our contract, we are required to bring out 6 30-yard roll-off dumpsters for your household hazardous waste cleanup and roundup, which will happen on the 16th day of March. That cost the citizens of this city somewhere around $24,000 to $27,000. That's budgeted year after year. This is not something that our company is required to participate in other than the dumpsters. So on behalf of GFL, our company would like to donate $25,000 towards your household hazardous waste pickup and roundup in March the 16th. We appreciate your leniency. We appreciate your mercy. We appreciate your cooperation. And I've apologized once, and I do appreciate the time to be here tonight and to present this check.
Stubby, on behalf of the council, as the Mayor of Cabot, we humbly accept your donation, and we will let the citizens know that this waste is not paid by them, but paid by GFL on March 16th.
Thank you so much. I know
You're
who
welcome.
gets the money.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
She always gets the money.
I do know, Mayor, that the discussion has went on longer for the earlier meeting and not have a lot of time, but certainly if there's questions, most of y'all can find my number on most bathroom walls around different businesses in this town, so you can call me and complain. But thank you, Mayor. Is there anything else from this council or you, sir?
I have nothing, council.
I want to thank you. The passion that you have for this town goes beyond just your job. You love Cabot.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll be excused. Thank you, Mayor.
You may.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we had that presentation. Now we're going to have a presentation of proclamation for Miss Madeline Peck. Here she is. And everybody, I apologize for us being this late tonight, but it's an awesome thing to read and do. The Girl Scouting mission is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. The Girl Scout Award is the most prestigious award in the world of girls and the most difficult to earn. Approximately 1 million Girl Scouts have earned the Gold Award of its equivalent since 1916 and is granted to fewer than 6% of all Girl Scouts. Madeline, a member of Girl Scout Troop 6866 here in Cabot, Arkansas, has completed the requirements and was examined by the Girl Scout Gold Award Committee which found her worthy of receiving the Gold Award on October 2nd, 2023. Madeline is a senior at Cabot High School and a member of the graduating class of 2024. Maddie is a member of the competition band, the National Honor Society, as well as the National Merit Scholar semifinalist. Very smart. Great job. Girl Scouts United States of America encourage Gold Award candidates to tackle issues important to them. Gold Award Girl Scouts are inspiring leaders who work on a broad range of the most challenging problems facing our world today, from human trafficking to ocean pollution, to education access, to expanded STEM training for girls in underserved communities. Maddie's Gold Award project was focused on creating and continuing interest in the STEM career fields. For her project, she created a presentation that demonstrated simple science experiments as well as showing some career areas in STEM. She presented at the middle school and Cabot Public Library. Maddie reported that she gained confidence in herself in areas of video editing, presentation skills, and professional communications during the completion of her project. Maddie is applying for early admission to Washington University in St. Louis with plans to major in environmental science and political science. So therefore, I, Ken Kincaid, Mayor of the City of Cabot, do hereby recognize and congratulate Madeline Peck for her outstanding accomplishment and extend to her our deepest appreciation for her dedicated work and wish her the best in all future endeavors. She is now a finalist, so Washington University should be free, right? And she got accepted. Congratulations. All right, our next item is to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Can I get some action on that, please, Council?
Make a motion that we read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Second.
I got a motion from James, a second by Matt, to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Coat,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Motion carries 8-0. We have City Council old business. Council, I don't have any. Do y'all have any to add? Seeing none, we'll move to City Council new business. First item is resolution number 4 of 2024. Please, Tammy.
Number 4 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. to waive the competitive bidding requirements in order to enter into said agreement and for other purposes.
Make a motion, we approve Resolution 4 of 2024.
Second.
I got a motion from Matt, a second from James to approve resolution 4 of 2024. Any discussion by council? Anybody in the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Waymack. Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Coat,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Item B is resolution number 5 of 2024. Please, Tammy.
Number 5 of 2024, a resolution approving the destruction of certain outdated documents of the Cabot Police Department and for other purposes.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 5 of 2024.
Second.
Got a motion by James, a second by Stephen to adopt resolution number 5 of 2024. Any discussion? Anybody in the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Coat,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Passes 8-0. Next item is resolution number 6 of 2024. Please, Tammy.
Number 6 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Red River Dodge for the purchase of a vehicle and for other purposes.
I move that we adopt resolution number 6 of 2024.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 6 of 2024.
Second.
Corey's mic wasn't on. He motioned. Do you second his motion?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a motion by Corey, a second by James, to approve resolution number 6 of 2024. Any discussion, council?
There really wasn't any trade-in value for that old brush truck?
There probably is.
Actually, there is. We're going to sell that truck on Gov Deals, and my in-house experts claim that we'll get about $10,000 because that's a sought-after body style.
Wow, that's more than I thought I was going to get out of that, so thank you.
Any other discussion, council? Any from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack, Long.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item, item D, resolution number 7 of 2024. Please, Tammy.
Number 7 of 2024, a resolution approving the appointment of Dominic Barnello to the Cabot Parks and Recreation Commission and for other purposes.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 7 of 24.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Stephen, a second by James, to adopt resolution number 7 of 2024. Any discussion by council? Anybody in the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please. Tammy?
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack, Long,
Yes.
Spangler.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item, item E, resolution number 8 of 2024. Please, Tammy.
Number 8 of 2024, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to accept a donation of real property for use as a public park, to enter into an agreement with the Cabot Water and Wastewater Commission to provide sewer infrastructure to the park and the surrounding area, to amend the general fund of the 2024 annual operating budget, and for other purposes.
Mayor, I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 8 of 2024.
Second.
I got a motion by Ed, a second by Matt, to adopt resolution number 8 of 2024. Any discussion by council?
Yeah, what was agreed to? What was the agreement that you and Gary reached?
The final agreement, Ed?
The final agreement is we're going to go ahead and approve the 137, and then whatever we get from the other two entities that was here and joining in on the discussion, in April, then we can amend this to reflect that. So what I'm asking for is for a minimum of 50-50 split with water, wastewater. Like to do it a third, us, water, wastewater, and A&P. Gary has agreed to take it to his commission. Candace told me before she left that she would take it to her commission as well. The issue that we've got, unless Gary has a special meeting, they don't meet until after our last meeting in March. Both of them don't. So that's why I said probably in April we will be making some type of adjustment. But right now, what we're approving is the whole $137,000, what the mayor asked for. That way he can start with the project.
What negative impacts would waiting a month create? Like, if we tabled it, waited till we actually got this in writing, what they're going to kick in, and what, you know what I mean? Like, how bad is a month? I guess it's for you, Ken.
Well, like I said before, and Maggie asked it as well, there's no date when they said it has to be done by. I know the window is small because we finally got everyone to agree, the parties, to do this deal. Some of them wanted to sell the land with their other land that's over there. They have about 60 acres, the Moyer family does, roughly, and 8 to 10, 6 to 8, 6 to 10 is what they're willing to not do with in that memorandum of understanding to the city for a park. So, I don't know. I mean, if we don't, they could say deal's off. They could say month's fine. I don't know. But
Okay.
we do have a motion and second on the floor.
Yeah, I'm in the awkward position of, like, I would vote for it for full funding from the general fund. I just don't feel warm and fuzzy about a handshake agreement and it not being in writing and all that stuff. But if, that's my input. I don't, I can't motion to table anyway right now, can I? So, yeah.
Right.
Corey, he'll be able to notify them in the morning that utilities are going to be put in, which is the stipulation that they put on that. So that should satisfy that part of that and stop any further movement on it. That's the only reason I see to try to do it tonight with good faith that these other two entities are going to help out on it. That's the only thing that I see on it. Otherwise, you know, we could postpone it for a month, but I think that's getting a little squishy with the deal personally.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
And now that we've told everybody what's going on in the public, you might have other people wanting that area as well. So if we don't approve it tonight, you know, they could back out and do something else. But like we said, that'd be great frontage for our city, for a park, for our people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's, that's why I would vote for it to come out of the general fund. It's just what's what I'm looking for? Uncertainty of who's going to do what, who's going to pay for what. But I mean, at the end of the day, if I would have paid for it anyway, I think it makes sense. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any other discussion by council?
All right, so let's get this clear. We're buying land, we're putting in sewer because that's what they want. So it's not a donation. Resolution 8 says authorizing the mayor and the city clerk to accept a donation of real estate property. That needs to be changed. That needs to be purchase. Correct, Ed?
It's not a purchase, it's a...
So what is it then?
I absolutely understand what you're saying, and I do not disagree with it. However...
This is getting shady.
Well...
I mean, the more I find out, it really needs to be tabled.
We have a motion to say we have to...
I know we got to, yeah, I agree. But how many parties are involved to sell the property? How many people? Or how many businesses?
To sell which property? To sell the land?
Yes.
I mean, they're gifting the land in exchange for those 4 items that I mentioned before. That there will be a road coming into the park, that they'll do a appraisal on their end and determine if they want it to be donated, which that's something they'd have to talk to between their accountant and their attorneys. And then the fourth major thing was that sewer would be run to it. So it's
not gifted. We're purchasing it to do those things.
I'm a CPA, and I would think under the tax code, giving something and getting something is not a gift. No, a gift is without any strings attached. You're correct. But the memorandum said donated. It didn't say gift. But you can use those words interchangeably. I agree with you. Ma'am? To some people, just like wagering's not betting, but it's betting wagering. I mean, right?
Brandon, would you feel better if we just like published the letter somewhere for the public to read? Like, I can't think of a good word other than donation, but I mean, if it really is about making sure everyone knows what's going on, would that belie your concerns?
Bottom line, taking taxpayers' dollars to do this, the way it's framed, I cannot support it. Okay?
Yes,
When the way it's framed, do we need to put the sewer in there? Yes. For economic development, yes. The park would be awesome, but we've got to call it and frame it to what it is. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. Anybody else?
I wish Ben was here tonight, but I'm afraid that if we change the title of that, because y'all pulled it straight off that memorandum of understanding is the way you worded that, I'm afraid if we change that, that's going to throw that back to them to have to reword their memo of understanding.
Ben wrote the memo.
I know, that's what I'm saying, though. If we change that here tonight, arbitrarily change the wording on that as Brandon is suggesting, and I'm not saying Brandon's wrong, don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but then that would throw it back to be, the memo be reworded, I'm afraid. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out a way to, I don't know.
I agree with Corey, and I know we can't do the motion because there's already a motion on the table, but also know that if they're really, their heart is to donate it to the city, and when my heart is really into something, to donate it and give it to the people I want to give it to, a month is not going to matter. And that's just my comments on that.
Tammy, who was my second?
Matt.
It was signed by 4 family members, just to let you know that. Yeah, it was motion by you, Ed, and seconded by Matt.
Brandon, your suggestion is, help me understand.
I would just like to see it framed that we are actually purchasing this property instead of a donation. They're requiring sewer, the parties are requiring sewer, so we're having to do a service to get this land.
But we are improving our property. The property is going to be ours that we're improving. Yes, I understand. They're putting a hook on it. In order for us to get title to it, the hook is a road, a sewer. Mayor, help me, there's 2 other items.
Yeah, the sewer, the road, the sewer, and it says, the city acknowledges and agrees that it will request to Cabot Waterworks to provide city sewer along the park parcel listed in 2A above by way of the south side of the property.
Okay, we've done that. We have fulfilled that part of it. We have requested them to do it.
Yeah. The parties acknowledge that all city parks are managed by a separate and independent commission. Ben's putting this language in here to basically say that Parks is going to run it.
Parks is going to run it.
You can't tell Parks what to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other city agrees that said donated portion of real property shall only be used for use as a city park and no other purpose. Further, the city agrees that the city park shall be named and known as Moyer's Family Memorial Park, and that said naming shall be referenced on all signage and literature referencing the city park. And then the last one is upon receipt of an executed deed and written granting of the above mentioned easement, the city agrees to provide the owners with a tax donation letter for the mutually agreed upon fair market value of the donated portion of the real property. That's what the city agrees to.
And Corey, your objection is you want a better handle on what the other 2 entities are going to do before we move forward with it?
Yeah, I think we can clean it up, maybe to address Brandon's concerns, bring it back as 2 separate resolutions, one for the park, one for the sewer, with definite numbers on who's going to kick in how much for the sewer. I think, I mean, it sounds muddy enough that I think it makes sense to do something like that.
I'm just trying to, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose that parcel out there. I want to make sure that we get it. I want to make sure that it becomes property of the city for the benefit of the city.
I mean, basically, the way I understood it is that we're going to do it regardless. But Gary looked me in the eye there, and if I can't take him at his word, then we don't need a water commission anymore. And if Candace told you that she's going to do that, I mean, guys, we're going to get it done.
I felt good that Candace made a commitment that she was going to have her commission revisited. I didn't think she would. I honestly didn't. Since it's been to them 3 times and turned down solid 3 times, I didn't think that she'd open it up for revisit. But she stood right here and they are going to talk about it again at their March meeting. She promised me that. Now, whether anything will be done, I don't know, but at least the idea is there, and it shows a bit of cooperation, I think. I made the motion to do it, Matt seconded it. Matt will need to withdraw his second. I will withdraw my motion. I don't know if we're putting anything in jeopardy by not acting on it tonight and waiting on the other. Corey, I agree with you. I think it'd be better, but agreeing what the mayor said, if we can't take each other as a gentleman here, then we're fighting a losing battle all the way
I
around.
mean, legally, we have to receive it.
We absolutely
before
do.
We can spend the money.
Absolutely,
So
no
this is
question about it.
receiving and I can give you my promise that I won't spend the money before next meeting.
No, I don't think, I don't think Tim could spend your money before next meeting.
And let me ask you this, Ed, if Matt withdraws his, you withdraw yours, and this is tabled to the next meeting. would
See,
that
that's the
get-
squishy part. What are they going to do when they find out we rolled it around for 3 hours almost and tabled it?
Right. I'm just trying to figure out a way to reword that. to
They're
say-
watching.
I hope they are.
Well, they are.
Well, I want it. You know, I don't want it for me. I will probably never set foot on it. I may have a grandkid that'll set foot on it sometime or other, but I doubt it because they're basically lazy. But somebody in this city, long after I'm gone, will be using that out there. And it will be a benefit for this community. It'll be a benefit for this part of the county. There's no question about it.
Any other discussion? We got a motion and a second. Seeing none, roll call please, Tammy.
Red,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Long,
Yes, ma'am.
Waymack,
No.
Weber. Reed,
Yes.
Coat,
No.
Hillenberg.
That's a no.
Pass 5-3. Next item, item F, Resolution 9 of 2024.
Number 9 of 2024, a resolution expressing the willingness of the city of Cabot, Arkansas to utilize federal aid transportation alternatives program funds for Phase 4 of the Central Arkansas Regional Greenway Project and for other purposes.
Make a motion, we adopt Resolution 9 of 2024.
I'll second.
Got a motion to adopt Resolution 9 of 2024 by Matt, seconded by James. Any discussion?
Mayor, when are you going to know when it's been awarded? Do you have any idea?
Metro Plan told us, I believe, next month or the next. They didn't give us an exact date, but this is some extra surplus money that we had. I sit on the executive board and one of the officers, and we're doing 10 $320,000 grants, I believe. No, 5 of them, and then doing several $120,000 grants. So it's a pretty nice deal. It's money that has been sitting there. They're trying to divvy out to people.
It's actually money that we didn't even know was going to be available. It's available.
Exactly.
We've applied for it. It's a
Exactly.
good deal, yeah.
Yep. It's
Okay.
money that wasn't supposed to be
And it's,
parceled out.
and it's not like it's a year away either, so, yeah, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? I did get a motion second, didn't I, Tammy?
Yes, we just need to vote.
Any from the audience? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Coat,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Now we move into community input. Anyone like to share anything with the mayor or the council? Brian?
I've waited 2.5 hours to tell you this. I wanted to let you guys know that next Monday night on March 4th, we are at 5 o'clock in this room. We're going to have a public involvement meeting
for the project coming up on 10th and St. John. We're doing drainage work in that subdivision, in the streets, and it's going to impact a lot of people for a long time, so we'd really like to let them know. Over the course of this week, we'll be putting door hangers on every door in the subdivision to invite them to this meeting, and so we'll have plans spread out so that everybody can see what's happening, and so that they know this is going to be a summer. This is going to be a pretty rough summer in some of those spots. So just wanted y'all to know in advance. Thank you for your time.
Well, that's Corey's and mine's area. You know, we will be here, or I will be here. I don't want to commit Corey to it, but I will be here.
Corey, can you be here?
And
Make it work.
I'm sure that if you put door hangers out, you're probably going to have people. They like to participate over there, don't they, Corey?
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
Anyone else have anything to share? Remember, March 16th is the spring cleanup. Matt, can you kind of tell us, are they doing computers again and tires and paint and?
Tires off the rims, please,
Okay.
but save the rims and bring it for scrap metal.
Okay.
So we'll be using scrap metal, tires, batteries, electronics, any hazardous waste that won't be accepted at landfill, pesticides, paints, fluorescent bulbs.
Are y'all doing paper recycling?
No paper shredding this time.
Okay. And Jeffrey, anything on that, if you would email Matt, because he's got all that stuff.
We'll
He's
have
in
a
contact with the guys, so he knows everything.
We'll have a shopping list of things that we will accept. We'll publish that, but we'll also have flyers the day of, so while people are sitting in line, if they've got something that we're not going to accept, they'll know ahead of time that we won't unload it.
Okay. Anyone else, anything else before we adjourn? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion.
I got a
Second.
motion, a second, or a motion by Stephen, a second by Brandon. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned, 8:58. Thanks, everybody, for coming.